The quiet cart pusher narrative. Ellie Carter began every sunrise, long before the sun bothered to clock in. While most of Phoenix still hugged their air-conditioned dreams, he shuffled out of the tiny casita he rented behind a laundromat, leaning into the dawn like a man listening for a secret. At 92, time had flattened his gait but sharpened his eyes. They glittered bird-bright beneath the shade of a U-Haul ball cap so old it might have served in the Spanish-American War. Along the brim, someone, possibly Eli himself, had scrawled in fading marker, "Keep moving." Moving was precisely what he did. 6 mornings a week he trudged the 6 blocks to Cielo Vista Supermercado, a family-run grocery wedged between a vape shop and a nail salon called 10 Perfect Deceptions. Cielo Vista was the kind of place with hand-painted fruit signs and an owner who still believed in paper punch cards. Out front lay Ellie's Kingdom, a sprawling asphalt expanse peppered with abandoned shopping carts, sun-bleached receipt ghosts, and the occasional runaway avocado. Corporate chains hired automated cart collectors these days, dystopian Roombas in steel. But Cielo Vista kept things stubbornly human, which meant it kept Eli. The arrangement was informal. Eli made $2 in tips for every row of carts he wrangled back to the corral. Sometimes customers shoved coins into his palm. Sometimes the manager, Segura Reyes, slipped him day-old bolillos. Often, especially near closing, he earned nothing but sweat. Still, those rows of rattling metal were Ellie's pension, gym membership, and social circle all at once. He clocked 10,000 steps a day and claimed the sun-baked handlebar calluses were better than any modern Fitbit reading. On this particular Monday in July, when the sidewalk heat shimmered so fiercely it looked sarcastic, Ellie's morning began with a tiny rebellion. He splurged on a 60-cent coffee from the convenience store en route. The cashier, 20-something, sporting headphones the size of dinner plates, glanced at him like he was a museum display titled irrelevant. Eli paid in exact change, tipped a penny, and trudged on, feeling like Rockefeller. As he neared the parking lot, he performed his ritual inventory. There were precisely 17 carts scattered at odd angles, each one a metal orphan. 17 was a lucky number, prime, indivisible, stoic. Eli whispered a greeting to each cart, as if they were veterans awaiting transport. Maybe that seemed eccentric, but loneliness is a language that bargains with whatever words it can find. Halfway through wrangling the first batch, Eli paused to watch a sagging palm frond dance in a breeze. That breeze carried the smell of jasmine from the nail salon exhaust fan, a smell Eli swore was identical to his late wife Ruth's shampoo. The sensation struck him with the softness of a pillow and the force of a truck. For a heartbeat, the carts blurred. Phoenix, blissfully rude, didn't allow sentimental tears to linger. They evaporated mid-cheek. He resumed, muttering a joke Ruth would have loved. "Why doesn't the son pay taxes? Too many shady deductions." The carts squeaked in protest. Eli insisted they practice appreciative laughter. Nothing kills a punchline faster than silence. Mid-shift, a silver SUV rolled up to fast and skidded into a stall, bumper kissing the white line like a bad first date. From the driver's seat emerged a young woman wearing sunglasses that screamed influencer, although they may have just been screaming because the Arizona glare demanded it. She jammed her phone between ear and shoulder, grabbed a cart, then froze, noticing Ellie's approach. "Sir, can I help?" she offered, as if confused which one of them might need salvation. Eli beamed. "Ma'am, I'm unionized," he lied cheerfully. "Cart pusher local 1. We accept tips in nickels or compliments." She laughed, bless her, a real laugh, and produced a $5 bill. Eli saluted with 2 fingers. She saluted back with one politely, the index. Humanity, 2. Cynicism, 0. At high noon, Segura Reyes waddled out, panting in the heat like an angry kettle. She pressed a bottle of cold horchata into Ellie's hand. He pretended it was contraband and slipped it inside his shirt like a spy. "Don't melt," she scolded, planning to thaw slowly. He promised. By 2 o'clock, Ellie's shoulders dragged. He'd clocked 15 rows, $30 cash, to stale bolillos. 1 voucher for a large jar of green olives set to expire tomorrow. He considered quitting early, but pride vetoed. Pride had worse judgment than a toddler on espresso. That was when he saw him, the stranger in the hoodie. A sweat-soaked hoodie in Phoenix was either madness or Hollywood. The figure leaned against a rust-flecked Corolla, head down, phone hidden. Eli noted the posture, bent, humble, almost trying to disappear. The stranger wasn't shopping. He seemed to simply observe the lot, as though the choreography of carts interested him more than the store. Eli shrugged. People watching, tourists, weren't new, but something about this man felt gently electric, like static before a thunderclap. Call it the sixth sense of a guy who'd survived 3 wars, 2 market crashes, and 1 season of cable news. An hour later, Eli corralled the final row. As he locked the chain, the hooded stranger approached, pushing an empty cart with deliberation. Up close, Eli noted lean muscle, a faint scar at the chin, and eyes the color of storm clouds, deciding whether to cry. The man spoke softly. "Sir, you missed one." He gestured to the cart he'd pushed. Eli chuckled. "Recruiting for my competition." The man smiled. "No competition, just respect for the craft." Respect. Eli tasted the word like a square of chocolate. He extended a weathered hand. Eli Carter, cart wrangler, philosopher, keeper of lost receipts. The stranger shook it firmly. "Liam," he replied. No surname, no explanation. Just Liam. And that was all. No fireworks, no camera flash. Just 2 men, one almost a century old, one hiding behind a hoodie, sharing a handshake scented faintly of horchata and asphalt. Liam placed a folded piece of paper into Ellie's palm, an absurd gesture, reminiscent of spy movies, then turned and walked away before Eli could protest. The paper read, "For tomorrow's coffee and the day after." Inside were 20s. Eli stared, stunned, until the wind threatened to steal them. He pocketed the bills, pocketed the moment, and wondered if tomorrow might taste like more than cheap convenience store brew. As dusk settled and parking lot lights buzzed awake, Eli finished his shift and headed home. The Bolillos under his arm smelled heroic. Somewhere behind him, unseen, Liam sat in the Corolla watching the old man walk, eyes glistening with the weight of some unspoken history. The world rolled on, cars honked, teens tick-tocked, the sun clocked out, but something invisible shifted. A tiny gravitational nudge, maybe a seed dropped into soil. Tomorrow, destiny would water it. But tonight, an elderly man named Eli Carter trudged back through the simmering streets of Phoenix with a bounce he hadn't worn since 1973. The stranger in the hoodie one morning. Rewound. Tuesday dawned over Phoenix like a broiler turned up to crispy. Eli Carter, still buoyed by yesterday's mysterious 20s, woke before his alarm crowed. He spent an extra minute ironing. His one good flannel dessert checked, in red and tan, which felt hilariously formal for cart duty. In the mirror, he practiced a grin that said, "Life just winked at me, and I winked back." Somewhere in the distance, Ruth's favorite record blew. Skies played on a radio he didn't own. Eli decided that was memory's way of buying him breakfast, to detour to destiny instead of his usual 60-cent coffee. He marched 2 blocks farther to Rusty Bean Roasters, the artsy cafe where lattes were priced like small hatchbacks. At the counter, a pierced barista named Max eyed Ellie's quarters with gentle pity. "Today's special is a lavender honey cappuccino, sir." "Lavender belongs in bath bombs, son," Eli said. "Hit me with plain, working-class bean juice." Max obliged. Eli slid one of Liam's 20s across the counter. The bill looked nervous, as if unaccustomed to daylight. He left the change, nearly $17 in the tip jar. Earning a gasp and an impromptu salute from Max, Eli walked out feeling like he'd bought stock in somebody's good day. 3. The return of Liam at Cielo Vista's lot. Carts lounged in haphazard yoga poses. Eli cracked his knuckles and began the routine. Half an hour in, the Corolla reappeared. Same dented left fender, same mysterious driver. Liam stepped out, hoodie up despite the heat, sunglasses shielding Hollywood eyes. In his hand, he carried 2 iced coffees, 1 black, 1 suspiciously lavender. "Figured you might be daring today," Liam said, extending the lavender concoction. Eli laughed. "If I wanted flowers in my drink, I'd gargle rosewater." He took the black. They clinked plastic cups like knights of the caffeine table. For the offer they walked the lot together. Liam pushed a cart with theatrical seriousness imitating Ellie's stooped posture until Eli swatted him with a dish towel flourish. "You ever consider retirement?" Liam asked. "From what gravity?" Eli shot back. "I'm serious. A man who's given 92 years to the planet deserves a soft chair." "Oh, I've got a soft chair. Most comfortable thing in Arizona. It's called the driver's seat of a shopping cart. Premium lumbar support if you're a giraffe." Liam grinned, but his eyes stayed somber. "Humor deflects, Mr. Carter, son, at my age. Deflection is armor. 5, fame under wraps." A teenager wheeled by on a skateboard, double-took at Liam, then darted away, whisper shouting, "Dude, that's Liam Rhodes." Eli squinted. "Friend of yours?" "Co-worker," Liam deadpanned. Recognition dawned. Ellie's eyebrows executed. "A tap dance. You're that actor, the one who cried in space and punched a shark in the same movie." "Typecasting is brutal," Liam sighed. "I'm incognito today. Mind keeping it between us?" "My lips are sealed tighter than a pickle jar in winter," Eli said. "But you owe me the secret handshake actors use to summon free airline upgrades. Deal? 6 lunch plans at noon." Asphalt shimmered like liquid silver. Liam removed his hoodie, revealing a faded Navajo Nation marathon t-shirt. "Let me buy you lunch," he offered. Eli hesitated. Free food tasted dangerous. It often came with invisible hooks. Then his stomach rumbled, sounding like a rusty trombone auditioning for jazz band. "Fine, but I picked the place. No KO. Temples." They ended up at Rosita's Tacos, a picnic table joint where salsa ranged from baby soft to Calvalumbasi. The owner, Rosita herself, recognized Liam instantly and almost fainted into the guacamole. Liam begged for discretion. She obliged after extracting a selfie and promising not to post until the Earth completes exactly 1 rotation. 7 stories beyond the screen over carne asada. Liam asked, "What did you do before carts?" Eli chewed thoughtfully. "Mechanical engineer. Designed retractable roofs for stadiums." He sipped horchata, but blueprints didn't survive the recession. Then Ruth got sick. Medical bills ate our savings like termites. After she passed, I needed motion more than money. Liam listened, jaw tight. "I lost my mom last year," he murmured. "She raised me solo, 3 jobs. Never took a vacation. She wouldn't let me buy her a house, said pride was rent-controlled." Eli nodded. "Grief is the most crowded room on earth, yet everyone feels alone in it." They sat in silence, broken only by salsa pop and Rosita's distant cackle. 8. The tiny miracle of YouTube. Back at the lot, a freelance journalist named Harper Cruz lurked near a dusty minivan. Camera in hand, she'd been tipped that Liam Rhodes was doing something adorable with an old man. Harper expected PR fluff. Instead, she saw real laughter, real sweat, and 2 men stacking carts like Tetris masters. Her reporter's spidey sense tingled. She approached cautiously. "Mind if I film a quick human interest piece?" Liam shook his head. "Only if you blur my face worse than witness protection." Eli shrugged. "I'm already a low-resolution human, no filter needed." Harper filmed a 2-minute segment. Eli explaining cart logistics, always lead with the nose, never the caboose, while Liam nodded like a rookie apprentice. She captured their fist bump at the end, the twinkle in Ellie's eye, the sincerity in Liam's smile. She uploaded it that evening under the title "Hollywood Star Spends Day Pushing Carts with 92-year-old Legend." By dawn, it had 1.2 million views. 9. Viral wake-up call. Ellie's flip phone erupted next morning with more notifications than its firmware could process. Max the barista texted, "Dude, you're trending harder than cat videos." Segura Reyes called to say people were lining up outside Cielo Vista asking for the cart philosopher. Liam arrived, sheepish. My PR team found out. They want to turn this into a charity push. Only if you're comfortable." "Charity for whom?" Eli asked. "The elderly living below the poverty line in Phoenix. We could start by fixing your housing situation." Eli folded his arms. "My casita's got character. The faucet leaks in a perfect C major. Besides, helping others, now that's interesting." 10. Resistance and revelation. Not everyone celebrated A man in a suit, Liam's agent, Derek, showed up waving NDA letters. Mr. Carter must refrain from statements that could interfere with brand alignment. Eli laughed so hard he nearly sprained nostalgia. Son, at my age, alignment refers to my vertebrae. Derek bristled. Copyright of his life story legally belongs. Liam cut him off. Derek, go align yourself with traffic. Derek stomped away, phone glued to ear, muttering brand liability like a curse. 11. First donation. That afternoon, a young mother approached Eli with her toddler. She handed him a hand-drawn crayon picture, Eli pushing a golden cart beneath. A cartoon son wearing sunglasses. Taped to the back was $20. For your work. She whispered, my dad passed last year. Seeing you reminds me to stay kind. Ellie's throat tightened. He accepted the picture as if it were a congressional medal. Your child's artistry just funded my coffee addiction, he joked, then added softly, thank you. He slipped the bill into the carts of kindness. Jar Liam had fashioned from an empty pickle bucket. 12. Late night confessions. Closing time. The lot lay still, carts sleeping in perfect rows. Eli and Liam sat on the curb, sharing canned peach halves straight from the tin. Heat still radiated off the asphalt. Stars flickered like timid flashlights. I Googled you. Eli admitted. Saw you won an Oscar at 30. Must feel like cloning your own mountain and climbing it twice. Liam toyed with the pull tab. Winning was euphoric for a weekend. Then it felt like owing the universe interest. He glanced at Eli. Yesterday, stacking carts. Best afternoon I've had in years. Eli chuckled. Cheap therapy, but the copay is blisters. Liam's voice dipped. I was 14 when my mom caught me shoplifting peanut butter. She made me march back, apologize, and sweep the store for a week. Told me, work is redemption in motion. I guess I came back for more sweeping. Eli raised the cannon. Salute to redemption in motion. They clinked peaches. 13. Thunderclouds on the horizon. News vans began parking across the street. Vultures scented for sound bites. Social media unboxed to camps. St. Liam and Grandpa Eli. Changing the world versus publicity stunt. Trolls questioned whether Eli was a hired actor. Liam's studio called. We want footage for the Blu-ray extras. Liam threatened to leak their accounting spreadsheets. That ended the conversation, but tension brewed. Harper Cruz messaged Eli privately. They're offering me 10 grand for an exclusive. I'd rather turn them down. But rent's due. Thoughts? Eli replied. Don't let money silence truth. But don't let truth starve you either. Choose the option that helps the most. People. Harper cried at her desk, then declined the offer. Instead, she set up a GoFund titled Push Kindness Forward. 14. The GoFund tsunami. Within 12 hours, donations hit $50,000. Anonymous benefactors pledged matching funds. Max the barista auctioned latte art portraits of Ellie's face. Rosita offered cart tacos with 50% of proceeds to the fund. Eli watched the counter climb on Harper's laptop, eyes wide. That much money could buy every cart its own heated blanket. Liam squeezed his shoulder. Or buy groceries for 1,000 seniors. Eli nodded, tears forming. Let's feed their souls too. Music nights, chess clubs, story circles. Old folks don't just need calories, they need company. 1-5 A promise forged. They drafted a manifesto on a pizza box. Nutrition deliver pantry boxes weekly. Connection organize community. Events, dignity create microjobs like garden tending, library tutoring. Liam pulled out a fountain pen gift from Spielberg. Casual flex and had Eli sign first. Ink blotted like a tiny galaxy. 16. The call home that night. Eli dialed his estranged grandson, Marcus, who lived somewhere in Oregon chasing tech dreams. They hadn't spoken in 8 years. Collateral damage from a family argument about hospice care costs. The line rang 6 times. Marcus answered groggy. Grandpa, Ellie's voice wavered. I'm building something for elders like me. Could use a web whiz. Long pause. Marcus exhaled. I've missed you. Ellie's knees buckled with relief. Then get your butt to Phoenix. We pay in Bolillos and gratitude. Marcus laughed. I'll book a flight. 17. Sunset epiphany. As the sun bled orange across the skyline, Eli climbed into the last cart of the day, sitting like a king on a budget throne. Liam pushed him, slow, deliberate. As if steering history, Eli spread his arms and whooped, a sound both childlike and ancient. Passers-by filmed, cheered, cried. One woman muttered, "Goodness, still exists," and for a heartbeat, the world nodded in agreement. 18 to be continued. The cart rolled to a gentle stop. Eli hopped out, surprisingly spry. "Tomorrow will be bigger," he said. "No," Liam corrected, wiping sweat. "Tomorrow will be better. Big is just a side effect." They bumped fists. The parking lot lights flickered on, like the universe, hitting save progress. Wednesday bloomed with less heat and more hope. Phoenix had the decency to ease off the furnace dial, and Eli Carter woke up humming. It wasn't a tune anyone would recognize somewhere between a jazz riff and a wheezing accordion. But it was his, and it meant the day had potential. Liam texted before sunrise, lunch at noon. "My treat, no PR people, just us. Bring your appetite and your stories," Eli replied. "I'll bring the appetite. The stories show up whether I invite them or not." By 11:45, they sat at a quiet booth in El Rancho Azul, a family diner where the booths were cracked but the burritos were transcendental. The waitress, Maria, knew Liam from tabloids but treated him like her nephew. She took their orders to carne guisada platters, extra beans, no judgment, and left them with a smile that said, "I see you, celebrity or not." To the photo, Liam set down his fork. "You ever think about writing a memoir?" Eli raised an eyebrow. "Son, the last thing this world needs is another old man rambling about the past, while everyone pretends to listen." Liam smiled. "That's literally my profession, pretending to listen." Eli chuckled, then reached into his shirt pocket and unfolded a faded photograph. Two people stared out, a younger Eli, all cheekbones and charm, and a woman with eyes like summer thunder. "Ruth," he said softly, "my bride. We met in a bomb shelter in London, 1944. I told her the Nazis could bomb the whole city, but they'd never flatten her curls." Liam blinked. "You were in the war," Eli nodded. "WWII, mechanic for the Army Air Forces. Ruth was a nurse. She stitched me up after I tried to fix a generator with a wrench and pure stupidity." Three Love in the Rubble story unfolded over hot tortillas. Eli told of candlelit dances during blackouts, secret notes tucked into ration boxes, and a shared tin of sardines that somehow felt like a feast. "She hated sardines," Eli said, eyes misting, "but she smiled like it was filet mignon. That's love. Pretending something stinks less because the other person likes it." Liam leaned in, entranced. "What happened after the war?" "Got married, moved back stateside, bought a house for $6,000 and thought we'd hit the jackpot. I started work designing retractable roofs." Ruth taught kindergarten. "Life was so normal, it was holy." For storms in the forecast, Liam noticed Ellie's hand trembled slightly. Not from age but from something deeper. Eli saw the glance. "Parkinson's," he said flatly, "early stage. Not enough to stop car strangling, just enough to make soup slosh." Liam looked gutted. "I didn't know." "I didn't either. Doctor told me a month ago." I said, "Great. Add it to the list." Eli laughed, but the sound had splinters in it. "I've buried two best friends, a brother, a mortgage, and most of my teeth. I can handle a few tremors." Liam nodded solemnly. "You ever scared?" "Only of forgetting." Ruth's voice. "I hear it less these days, like it's underwater." 5. The actor gets Liam turned quiet. He'd been famous long enough to turn vulnerability into brand building. "But not today. My dad walked out when I was 4. He said, Mom raised me in a basement apartment with walls so thin we heard our neighbors' toothpaste choices. She worked herself into the ground to send me to acting school. First time I got a part, I cried. Not from joy, guilt. Like I stole a dream that wasn't mine." Eli nodded. "Guilt is proof your soul still checks the news." They sat in silence. Forks paused midair, like grief was something to chew slowly. 6. A surprise Desert Maria returned with flan on the house. "For the gentleman with the famous face," she winked. Then, to Eli and the real star. Eli took a bite and moaned theatrically. "Ruth made flan once. It set like concrete. We used it as a doorstop for 10 years. Liam laughed. "Romantic. Practical," Eli corrected. Also, I never tripped on that door again. 7. Legacy talk. As coffee arrived, Liam reached into his messenger bag and pulled out a leather-bound journal. I've been jotting down ideas for the foundation. What we talked about. Eli flipped through the pages. Handwritten titles jumped out. Cart Corps, a volunteer force for seniors' warm meals. War stories, veteran dinners. Rent-a-Grandpa, paid companionship for lonely youth. Non-creepy edition. Eli blinked. This is brilliant. Too much, no. Eli said, it's enough, the good kind. 8. The walk home. Liam offered to call a car. Eli refused. My legs need the exercise. My soul needs the sky. They walked the 6 blocks together, like 2 odd-shaped puzzle pieces that just fit along the way. Strangers recognized Liam, but they approached Eli. Thank you, one woman whispered, hugging him. For what? He asked. For reminding us that growing old doesn't mean disappearing. Eli didn't reply. He didn't have to. His eyes were already saying too much. 9. The evening paper that night. The Arizona Republic ran a front-page headline. The Cart King of Cielo Vista. A full spread showed Eli teaching Liam how to steer with minimal squeak. The article quoted Ellie's quip, you push a cart long enough, it starts pushing you back. 10. Liam's late-night message. Eli's flip phone buzzed just past 9 p.m. A text from Liam. Dinner changed me, so did you? Let's do more. Eli replied, tomorrow we start the real work. Carts are only the beginning. He turned off the light and lay back on his thrift store recliner, arms folded, heart full. And somewhere deep in that quiet he heard Ruth laugh. It started with a ringtone. Not Ellie's. His phone didn't ring so much as politely cough. No. This ringtone belonged to Liam's sleek smartphone, which vibrated with a kind of entitlement that said, my owner probably has an espresso machine in his glove box. He glanced at the caller ID, sighed, then answered. Yeah. From the other side came Harper Cruz, journalist, truth seeker, and current holder of the most polite reporter in Phoenix title. Liam, can Eli meet me tomorrow morning? NPR wants to feature his story. It's not fluff. It's legacy stuff. I'll do it justice. Liam looked at Eli, who was deep in the noble act of buttering a tortilla, like he was preparing a priceless canvas. Eli, Liam said, how do you feel about national radio? Eli looked up and said, without missing a beat, is it AM or FM? To the interview. They met at Harper's modest studio, where the air smelled faintly of dust, ambition, and half-eaten croissants. Eli showed up in his good flannel and a bolo tie shaped like an eagle. Harper, wearing her best friendly, but not too pushy expression, adjusted the mic. You ready? She asked gently. I've survived wartime London, a marriage proposal rejection, and 1 kidney stone. Eli said, hit record. The interview covered everything. Ruth, the war, the carts, the economy, the GoFundMe, the growing non-profit, now unofficially named Golden Cart Foundation. Harper wrapped it with, Eli, what would you say to young people who feel like the world doesn't care about them anymore? Eli looked straight at the mic like it was a grandchild needing a life lesson. The world's always been a bit of a mess, sweetheart. But caring isn't extinct, it's just tired. You don't fix that by shouting louder. You fix it by noticing someone who needs help and showing up with your sleeves rolled. Harper blinked. Can I hug you? Only if you don't wrinkle my tie. 3. Viral detonation. The interview aired Thursday morning. By noon, it had been clipped, memmed, TikToked, and turned into a lo-fi remix titled Cart Vibes. Vol. 1. Celebrities started reposting quotes. Caring isn't extinct, it's just tired. Eli Carterby. Friday afternoon, a new hashtag trended. Hashtag push like Eli, encouraging people to push something good into the world each day. Shopping carts, wheelchairs, strollers, lawnmowers, literal kindness. A middle school in Vermont made it a week-long challenge. A girl in Sweden used it to launch a fundraiser for her elderly neighbor's heating bill. Eli, blissfully unaware of hashtags, continued pushing carts. When Harper showed him the TikToks, he said, I look like a raisin with ambition. Then, he laughed until he nearly choked on a tamale. For the money flubbed GoFundMe past $250,000. Anonymous donations, corporate matches. A CEO from Seattle wrote, I had a grandfather like Eli. I never told him how much he meant. This is my apology letter in dollars. Liam called in a lawyer friend to help structure the nonprofit. Eli, skeptical of all suits, asked, "Will this guy try to franchise me?" "No," Liam said. "He's the good kind of lawyer, like Atticus Finch, but with Wi-Fi." Eli still insisted on reviewing the paperwork with a magnifying glass and reading glasses stacked like monocles. 5. Ruth's Legacy. At night, Eli sat with the original photo of Ruth. He whispered, "They know your name now, sweetheart." I made sure they knew the story wasn't just about carts. He slipped the photo into a small display case and set it by the front window, where she could watch the world. As he put it, then he did something unusual. He opened his old war diary. He hadn't touched it in 30 years. 6 skeletons in the file cabinet. In the days that followed, as interviews and donations multiplied, a new thread emerged. A local historian, digging for a documentary, found Ellie's name on a declassified file. Operation Daisy Chain, rejected mission proposal. SKT, Elijah Carter listed as consultant. The internet, helpful as ever, erupted. Was Eli part of a covert mission? Secret history of the Cart King. He's been hiding something. Liam found out through a podcast host with a man bun named Skylar, who wanted to debate the ethics of glorified aging. "I swear," Liam muttered, "if one more blogger uses the phrase hidden truth bomb, I'm going to eat my Emmy." 7. Ellie's response when asked about the file. Eli didn't flinch. Double quotes, "Yes, I was consulted. The mission was too dangerous. We advised against it. The brass disagreed. 6 pilots died. I lost my best friend. That feels not a scandal, it's a wound, and I have the right to carry it." The press fell silent. For once, respect won the round. 8. Big Ursa Major. Network offered to option Ellie's life rights. HBO wanted a miniseries. Hallmark proposed a made-for-TV movie called Love in Aisle 9. Eli turned them down, all of them, when Liam asked why. He said, "I'll tell my story when I'm ready, but I won't sell it like gum at a checkout aisle. My life isn't a commercial, it's a grocery list, full of things people forget they need." 9. Expansion begins. The Golden Cart Foundation launched its first pilot program. Weekly meals to 50 seniors, companionship rotations, run by local high schoolers, a community garden where elders taught gardening in exchange for fresh produce. Eli oversaw every detail, from the budget to the soil. "I may not be a sprout anymore," he said, "but I know how to grow something worth tasting." 10. Reunion invitation. Out of the flood of emails, one hit hard. A woman named Grace, Ruth's sister's daughter. She wrote, "I remember you from when I was 6. You made balloon animals at a funeral to cheer me up. You were my hero. I'd love to reconnect. Maybe bring some old photos Ruth left me." Eli stared at the screen for a long time. Then he whispered, "Okay, Ruth, you win. I'll let them back in." 11. One more interview. Harper returned for a follow-up. This time, Eli requested the location, Ruth's old park bench under the fig tree in Steele Indian School Park. He brought her favorite sun hat and set it beside him. During the interview, Harper asked, "What's next?" Eli smiled. "Next, we plant bigger gardens. We write more letters. We teach people that kindness is a habit, not a holiday." Then he looked at the hat and added quietly, "And maybe I say goodbye properly, not in sadness, in gratitude." Harper cried through most of the edit. The final video hit 3.7 million views in 2 days. 12. The surprise letter. A week later, Liam delivered an envelope marked in swirling cursive from the office of the governor of Arizona. Eli opened it, squinting. It read, "We hereby recognize Mr. Eli Carter for his extraordinary service to the state. Past and present, July 15th is now officially Golden Cart Day in Arizona." Eli sat very still. Then he whispered, "Ruth would have baked cookies for the entire state." Liam grinned. "Then we better stock up on flour." The ceremony governor's office had prepared everything. A stage under a shaded pavilion, free lemonade from an actual lemonade stand with questionable permits, and a banner that read, "Golden Cart Day, honoring Mr. Eli Carter in Comic Sans." Much to Liam's dismay, I survived a war. Eli muttered, eyeing the font. But this might kill me. I told them Helvetica. Liam replied, I lost the battle to an intern named Amber. Hundreds showed up, local news stations, teachers who used Ellie's quotes in classrooms, teens wearing t-shirts that said #PushLikeEli in bold gold letters. Max the barista showed up with cappuccino, popsicles, and a proud grin when Eli stepped onto the stage. The cheers came like thunder with better manners. He squinted out into the crowd. I haven't seen this many people since the Beatles invaded America, and I had better knees back then. Laughter rolled. He paused, hands folded at his back. You know, he began, I've always thought of pushing carts as a humble act, but sometimes it's not about the cart at all. It's about reminding people that you still can. That age doesn't mean absence, and wrinkles don't mean retreat. He cleared his throat. I've got scars, plenty, and not all of them came from falling off ladders. Some came from words I never said, people I never called back, forgiveness I never asked for. The crowd quieted. A breeze swept through like it was listening. But this day, it doesn't belong to me alone. It belongs to every elder who feels unseen, every kid who holds the door open, every stranger who chooses kindness even when no one's watching. Pause. Eyes misting. I'm not retiring, but I am beginning. The crowd rose, clapping, shouting. Some cried. Liam clapped the hardest. Still hate the font, Eli whispered to him as he sat. To the envelope to the ceremony. A volunteer handed Eli an envelope. The handwriting stopped him cold. It read, Marcus Carter, his grandson. They hadn't spoken face to face in nearly a decade. The envelope contained one sheet of paper. Grandpa, I'm in Phoenix. I didn't want to intrude today. You deserved the spotlight. But if you're open to it, I'd like to talk. I'm at the Desert Rose Motel, room 109. Love. Marcuselli held the note as if it might vanish. He tucked it in his shirt pocket right where Ruth used to rest her head when they danced. 3. The Desert Rose Litter. That evening, he stood in front of room 109, clutching a takeout bag of tamales because nobody can stay mad when handed warm food. He knocked, the door opened, and there stood Marcus, tall, lean, with the same squint Ruth had when she was about to say something wise or wildly sarcastic. Grandpa. Marcus neither moved for a beat. Then, awkwardly, they half hugged, half collided. You brought food? Marcus asked. Eli shrugged. Apologies taste better with salsa. They sat on the edge of the bed. Eli stared at his tamale, unsure if he should unwrap it or cry into it. I'm sorry, he said, voice small. Marcus looked down. You don't have to. I do. I let anger sit where grief should have been when your dad passed. I thought keeping everything quiet would protect us, but silence didn't protect it, just isolated. Marcus's lip quivered. I didn't understand why you cut everyone off. Eli nodded. Neither did I. I just knew I couldn't lose anyone else, so I pushed people away before they had the chance to go. Silence, but not empty. Healing. I kept your letters. Marcus whispered. Even the weird postcard with the duck in a sombrero. That duck was a personal hero, Eli said, eyes twinkling. They both laughed, and just like that, a decade of distance took its first step home. 4. Shadows and light. Later that night, Liam visited Ellie's place. Eli was staring at Ruth's old rocking chair. Let me guess, Liam said. She used to sit there and boss you around with a smile. All day, Eli said. Told me when I was being stubborn, dramatic, or secretly sweet, which was most of the time. All of the time. Liam sat beside him on the porch. I reconnected with Marcus. Liam smiled. Good. He looks like you, but with more hair. They sat for a while, staring at the stars. Do you ever wonder if we're worthy of all this? Eli asked. All the time, Liam said. But I think worthiness isn't earned by perfection. It's earned by trying again. Eli nodded. And by tamales. Liam raised an eyebrow. Long story, Eli said. 5. Flashback. 1958. A brief interlude. Memory. Ruth's voice echoing across time. Eli, people think healing is linear, like a staircase. But it's not. It's a waltz. 2 steps forward, 1 back. And sometimes you dance with ghosts. 6. The cart shed next morning. Eli returned to the lot early. Cielo Vista had built him a small cart shed, part rest station, part workshop, part clubhouse. Inside was a stool, a fan, and a radio that played only the oldies. He found a note taped to the fan. To the world's kindest cart man, you taught me how to steer my life. Olivia, age 14. He sat, tears forming. This was home. Not the asphalt, not even the carts, but the ripple. The proof that he had mattered. 7. One more speech later that week. At a community fundraiser, he gave another short speech. It was supposed to be 5 minutes. It lasted 20. He ended it with, "You don't need to be young to start something. You don't need to be rich to give something. And you don't need to be perfect to heal something." 8. Liam's revelation after the fundraiser. Liam pulled Eli aside. "I turned down a $3 million role." He said. Eli blinked. Was the character allergic to flan? Liam laughed. "It didn't feel right. I want to help build this instead. The foundation, the programs, the mission." Eli studied him. "You sure?" Liam nodded. "It's the first script I've ever believed in completely." They shook hands, then hugged. Then cried, silently, side by side. 9. Marcus joins. Marcus took over the foundation's tech, designed a sleek website, organized logistics, found volunteers. "I call him our head of buttons and magic," Eli joked. And just like that, the golden cart wasn't just a feel-good moment. It was a movement. 10. The final scene of the day. That night, the Cielo Vista parking lot was quiet. Eli stood alone, one hand resting on a cart. He whispered, "Thank you, Ruth, for waiting, for believing, for never really leaving." The wind picked up. And somewhere in the sky, a street lamp flickered on just as a song began playing faintly on a radio in a nearby car. Blue skies. He smiled and pushed the cart into place. Phase 1, organized Kausif, starting a non-profit. We're a baking recipe. The Golden Cart Foundation was using a cracked mixing bowl, measuring sugar in handfuls and winging it on faith and stubborn joy. Eli Carter, 92 and wearing the same lucky flannel he swore hadn't shrunk, it had, stood in the middle of their new headquarters, a donated warehouse turned community hub, tucked behind an old auto shop in East Phoenix. The air smelled like coffee, drywall dust, and determination. Next to him stood Liam Rhodes, in jeans, a t-shirt that read "Push Kindness," and a look that screamed Hollywood producer pretending to know what a ledger is. "Do we have a budget meeting or a bake sale in 15 minutes?" Liam asked, juggling a clipboard and half a donut. "Both," said Marcus, who had officially become Chief Technology Officer, unofficial therapy app builder, and full-time grandson. "But the brownies are for morale. Don't touch them." Eli sniffed the air. Too late. 2. The mission in motion. In just under a month, the Golden Cart Foundation had accomplished what many non-profits took years to dream about. 230 volunteers signed up, not counting to therapy dogs, a meal delivery system for homebound seniors called Cart and Carry, intergenerational mentorship programs, teens paired with elders to swap stories, recipes, and yes, TikTok dances. A mobile kindness cart initiative, mini carts stocked with essentials like blankets, soap, socks, snacks, and handwritten notes from local school kids. They partnered with 6 grocery stores for clinics and one tiny ice cream parlor that pledged to give a free scoop to anyone over 80 who said, "I've earned this." 3. The broken tile moment. At a press event celebrating their 1,000th meal delivered, Eli tripped on a loose tile and fell hard. The crowd gasped. Liam ran. Marcus froze. Eli rolled over, dazed, clutching his hip. Paramedics were called. Liam rode in the ambulance. Eli grumbled the whole way. "If I die," he muttered, "tell the mayor he still owes me that chess match." In the hospital, scans showed a hairline fracture in his pelvis. No surgery needed, but 6 weeks off his feet. No cart trangling, no speeches, no just one more delivery. The doctor told him, "You need rest, Mr. Carter. That's non-negotiable." "Is bribery negotiable?" Eli asked. The doctor did not laugh. For guilt and grit, Liam blamed himself. "I should have seen the tile," he muttered. Marcus blamed himself. "I was 10 feet away. I should have been holding his arm. Eli, meanwhile, was busy charming the entire hospital ward and inventing a game called Walker Races. But one night, alone with Liam, he confessed, "I'm scared," he said quietly. Liam's voice cracked. "Of what?" "That if I stop moving, I'll disappear." Liam sat beside him. "You won't. You're not the cart. You're the compass. Even from a chair, people will follow you." Eli blinked. "That's the nicest thing anyone said since Ruth told me I looked handsome in overalls." 5. The guest appearance. While Eli recovered, a temporary host took over his weekly Kindness Cart video series. An unexpected guest, Keanu Reeves. Yes, that Keanu. Turned out he'd been following the foundation quietly for months. When asked if he'd appear in Ellie's place, he said, "I don't deserve the cart, but I'll push it with gratitude." The internet exploded. Hashtag CartBabaYAGA trended for days. In the video, Keanu delivered Ellie's catchphrase with such reverence. It brought tears to the comments section. Kindness isn't a grand gesture. It's showing up with your sleeves rolled and your heart wide open. Eli watched from his hospital bed and simply whispered, "Not bad." He still needs to work on his left turn, though. 6. The first big pushback. Net everyone loved the growth. Critics called the foundation a feel-good band-aid for systemic elder neglect. One op-ed read, "Old men pushing carts shouldn't inspire us. They should shame us. This is poverty." Porn with a smile, Eli asked Liam to read the entire article aloud. Then he folded the paper and said, "Good. That means we're big enough to be criticized." Liam raised an eyebrow. "You're okay with it? I've been called worse." Eli smirked. "Like once, Ruth said I folded towels like a raccoon with mittens." 7. The quiet pivot. While Eli rested, Marcus and Liam began expanding operations, a pilot program in Tucson, a collaboration with Meals on Wheels, building a kindness curriculum for schools, focused on empathy and aging. Meanwhile, Harper Cruz, the reporter who'd started it all, quit her job and joined the foundation full-time as director of storytelling. "This," she said, "is the story I want to spend my life telling." Eli, now sporting a cane with flames painted on the side courtesy of a teen art class, nodded. "Make sure to spell my name right on the statue." 8. Return of the cart king. 6 weeks later, Eli returned to Cielo Vista. Not to push carts, to teach. He ran a workshop called Lessons from the Lot where he taught volunteers about posture, persistence, and the importance of waving at every baby. He ended each session with the same words, "You're not just pushing metal. You're pushing dignity. You're showing the world what care looks like in motion." 9. A new High-Wreath Foundation brought on a new team member, Gladys B. 89 years old, former librarian, professional knitter, and unofficial sass queen. She became the foundation's director of listening. Her job, to sit, sip tea, and ask the elders what they really needed. Her first report, "Stop giving us fuzzy socks and start fixing our ramps. We want our classes, not bingo." Someone, "Please teach me how to FaceTime my great-granddaughter without making my ear 3x life size." Eli read the list and grinned. Gladys gets it. 10. Planting for the future. Final act of Part 6 happened under an overcast sky. The team, elders and teens alike, gathered at the community garden to plant a pecan tree in Ruth's name. Eli, leaning on his cane, spoke softly. She loved pecans, used to make pie that could solve wars. He took the first shovel of soil. Liam followed. Then Marcus. Then the entire group. As they finished, Max the barista arrived with tiny pecan pie, bites in paper cups. We needed snacks and symbolism. They all toasted with pie. And somewhere, just beyond the clouds, it felt like Ruth was smiling, possibly judging their crust-to-filling ratio. The film pitch. It started in a movie studio boardroom. Liam sat across from a semicircle of producers wearing expensive cardigans and expensive skepticism. He pitched like his life depended on it, because, in a way, it did. It's not a blockbuster. It's a soul buster. One man, one cart, one world waking up to the quiet power of kindness. Eli Carter changed lives. This story doesn't sell tickets, it starts movements. A long pause. Then the head producer leaned forward. "What's the title?" Liam didn't hesitate. "The Golden Cart." Green light. To Ellie's reaction when Liam told Eli the movie was a go, Eli blinked, took a sip of horchata, and said, "Just don't cast anyone who can't push a straight row of carts. That's non-negotiable. And who do you want to play you?" Liam asked. Eli thought for a moment. "Danny DeVito." Liam laughed so hard horchata came out his nose. 3. Filming begins. Production launched in fall. Real locations. Real people. Harper Crews consulted on the script. Marcus ran the behind-the-scenes website. Max the barista served lattes to the crew every morning and autographed their cup sleeves. Like a caffeinated celebrity. Eli visited the set only once, wearing dark sunglasses and a t-shirt that said "based on a true legend." "I'm not ready for all this fuss," he said, "but I'm glad people are still showing up for kindness." He watched the actor playing him push a cart with a wobble and muttered, "He needs more hips." 4. The health turn. Weeks later, something shifted. Eli grew quieter, moved slower. His jokes turned softer, still sharp, but whispered. One morning, Marcus found him staring at the garden tree planted for Ruth. "She's calling," Eli said. "Calling what?" "Me. Home." Marcus sat beside him. "Is there time for one more project?" Eli smiled faintly. "Always." 5. Ellie's final project with help from Harper and Gladys. Eli recorded a series of farewell videos titled Final Pushes. Each addressed a topic. To lonely kids, "You matter more than your follower count." To tired parents, "Rest is holy. Take it without guilt." To grieving hearts, "Sadness is the proof that love stayed too long and like the place." The final video simply said, "If you remember anything I ever said, let it be this: don't wait. Push kindness now. Push it like a cart in the sun, even when your hands are tired. Especially then." 6. The goodbye. One chilly morning in November, Eli passed peacefully in his sleep, hand resting on Ruth's photograph. A note taped to his door that read, "Gone cart pushing with Ruth. Don't wait for me. Keep going." Liam got the call. He cried alone in his car for 30 minutes. Then he drove straight to the Cielo Vista lot, picked up a cart, and pushed it in silence. The entire city seemed to pause. 7. The service. Eli's memorial was held not in a church or hall, but in the very parking lot he'd called home. A golden cart sat at the center, filled with handwritten letters, drawings, and cookies pecan. Of course, hundreds came. Thousands watched online. Even the mayor cried. Liam gave the eulogy. Eli Carter didn't just push carts. He pushed us to be better, to care more, to show up. And now, it's our turn to push forward. A moment of silence followed. Then a dozen carts rolled across the lot, each pushed by someone Eli had helped. Marcus, Harper, Max, Gladys, the school kids. Even Keanu Reeves. A tribute parade. A moving memorial. A final, rolling goodbye. 8. The legacy. 6 months later, Golden Cart Foundation now served 11 cities, launched 3 food trucks called Push and Plate, and trained over 1,200 volunteers. The foundation's Youth Kindness program became part of the state curriculum. A nationwide Push Kindness Week was declared every July. And the movie? It premiered at Sundance. Standing ovation. It was nominated for Best Picture. It didn't win, but no one cared, because Eli already had. 9. Full circle. In what would have been Ellie's 93rd birthday, Marcus and Liam returned to Cielo Vista. The store had installed a bronze statue of Eli, standing beside a golden cart, hand raised in a wave. The plaque read, "Eli Carter, cart wrangler, philosopher, friend, keep pushing." They placed a bouquet of fresh pecan branches beside it. A kid walked up with a cart, stopped, stared. "Who's he?" the boy asked. Liam knelt down. "He's the reason we're all still moving forward." 10. Ruth's final cameo. Last twist. A box arrived at the foundation, postmarked from England. Inside, a bundle of letters Ruth had written during the war, but never sent. Discovered in a closet. Passed down. Finally found. One letter, dated 1944, read, "If I go first, Eli, promise me you'll keep moving. Not out of duty, but out of hope. Push something good into the world, even when it hurts. I'll be watching. Love, always, Ruth." They framed it, hung it in the main office, right above the exit door. A reminder, a push, a beginning.